Hello and welcome to Bitcoin Down Under, episode 2 on August 17, 2015. I'm your host, John LeBon, and I'm joined by an all-star cast of Australian Bitcoiners tonight. So we'll say a quick hello to all of them one by one. Firstly, down there in Launceston, Tasmania, we've got Adam with us. Adam, thanks for joining us.
Oh, hi, thank you.
We're also joined once again by Shane from Cointree down there in Melbourne. Shane, thank you for taking the time.
Hi, thanks, Jono. Good to be here.
And we've got a couple of debutantes with us tonight, also in Melbourne, David and Kim. Now, we'll give them a proper introduction in a moment, but before we do, just a quick hello, David, and thank you for taking the time.
Thank you, John.
And Kim as well, also making his debut on the Bitcoin Down Under show. Kim, thank you for taking some time out of your evening on a Monday night and joining us on the show.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for having us.
Now, we will get to a proper introduction for you two in just a moment, but quickly, I've also got with me the man who put all of this together, Lucas from Bitcoin Brisbane. Lucas, thank you once again for taking the time to do all of this.
Not a problem, Jono. And Shane has actually helped a bit with this one as well, so thanks a lot, Shane. We're starting to get a bit of momentum, I think, going forward, starting to learn the ropes. It's coming along quite well. So I guess I'll just give a bit of an update on the Brisbane scene. So on the 7th of this month, of September, I've got the Colourcoin meetup, which will be, I think, the inaugural Colourcoin meetup in Australia as well. So looking forward to that one. So if you're in Brisbane and want to come along and learn about open assets and Colourcoin, RSVP on meetup.com/Bitcoin Brisbane. Now I'll throw it over to Adam, who's going to give an update from down in sunny Tassie, and a bit of an update on a BAA as well. So over to you, Adam.
Oh, thank you very much. There's been a bit of snow down here lately, actually, but plenty of sun as well. Launceston launch is going pretty well. I'm actually talking to a few new merchants at the moment, and they do a lot of internet commerce. So quite excited to get them signed up to Bitcoin and hopefully doing a bit of business-to-business Bitcoin trade. And we have our monthly meetup on the 4th Thursday of the month at the local cider bar, and that's all the details are on meetup.com. And we've got a few things going on at the BAA as well. Probably talk about a few of those a bit later as well, but probably the main thing that we're rolling out at the moment is some merchant cards, and these are cards that are designed so that all the Bitcoin hobbyists out there can probably download some off our website or get some physical ones and keep them in their wallet, and we hope that they can then pass them on to merchants that they would like to spend their Bitcoins at and try to get a few shops participating in our little Bitcoin economy.
Yeah, excellent. I've actually got one of those, and I'll be printing and handing a few out at my meetup. And I guess just for those who haven't seen them, they are just like what Adam said, just a bit of a tease on why you should accept Bitcoin payments and how to actually start the next part of that journey. So excellent stuff. We'll throw it over to Shane now, who will introduce our special guest CoinLock properly, so to speak. So over to you, Shane. What's happening down in Melbourne?
Yeah, well, I will introduce our special guests first. So yes, tonight we have CoinLoft, who are, I bumped into these guys about 12 months ago at the Melbourne Bitcoin meetup. Ever since then, bumping into them at the meetups. They're always happy to chat to people. They always have great stories and great ideas. Welcome, David and Kim.
Thank you, Shane. Thanks, Shane.
Kim, since you also were at the last meetup, I'm wondering if you could give a bit of an overview of maybe Bitcoin Group's IPO journey?
Yeah, sure, Shane. The last meetup was on August 6th at the Melbourne Bitcoin Technology Centre, where all of the meetups are normally held. Sam Lee and I think a couple of the other directors were present, and they were happy enough to give us a bit of an update on the IPO journey. I think there was a little bit in the media about the process. I think ASIC put a stop to their IPO submission for a point in time. I think there was a bit of a communication or marketing glitch there along the way. They told us, but apparently that's been sorted out now, which is good. They gave us a few stats as well on the company. They're doing about 1.5% the Bitcoin mining, which is around 5.3 petahash, I think, which doesn't sound like much, but actually when you look it up on the stats, they're around 25th or something like that in the mining group, which is not a bad statistic.
Yeah, well, if I can just jump in there, David, I know I actually use Slosh's pool, and they run about 12 to 15 petahash. So, yeah, if they're coming on board and already achieving a third of, one of the first or the first mining pool, then that's not a bad effort either.
Yeah,
So,
exactly. That's pretty impressive.
Sorry, you were saying, yeah. Do you want to carry on?
Yeah, sure. They also gave us a bit of an update on some of the mining farms. They called them in China. I think they have a couple in China. They're upgrading and building at the moment, which was quite impressive to see.
Yeah, excellent.
I think that was pretty much all of the update they had from the Bitcoin group.
Yeah, just from my perspective, all in all, it sounds from Sam that they feel their IPO project, as it were, is progressing reasonably as planned. So it'd be interesting to see their launch on the ASX.
Yeah, well, I guess we all wish them the best of luck. Like I said, the more investment in the space is always welcome, and it's a melting pot of ideas, and I guess no one will really know which wins or comes off successful. So yeah, all the best to Sam. Now, Shane, did you? Was there any other questions we had specifically for CoinLock tonight?
Oh, yeah, sure. I suppose, David, you could maybe tell us a bit about CoinLoft.
Sure. So CoinLoft started around, sort of in our heads, around mid-2013, I think in Kim's head initially. And, we just thought how we would go developing an exchange, and we started to get interested in Bitcoin, and Kim bought a few Bitcoin quite cheaply. And we ended up developing the service and launching January 2014, I think it was.
Yeah, excellent. And you're just saying off air that your launch went pretty smoothly?
The launch itself was very smooth. We had we seemed to foresee most of the issues we'd have, and it was all quite smooth. I guess throughout that year, 2014, it was quite a roller coaster ride. Probably one of the major things was the, as I mentioned off air, the ATO tax ruling. Things started to pick up for us, and then the ATO ruling on GST came out, and that kind of killed our trade for a while, because we actually decided to start charging GST straight away. We just couldn't see, I guess, ourselves in our situation taking the risk of having a large GST bill that we hadn't collected the funds for. So, yeah, we started charging GST straight away. Yeah. Our business kind of took a nosedive for a while. On the sort of flip side of that, we put in the process of applying for a private ruling with the ATO immediately, and Ruben from Adroit Lawyers helped us with that, which was fantastic, and we obtained that ruling probably after about 2 to 3 months, I think, of work, and we ended up, being for a while there the only exchange that wasn't charging GST. So it was kind of the flip side of the coin, really. And that was probably our major hurdle, I guess.
Okay, excellent. Well, yeah. Actually, Adam from the Launch System launch has been dealing with the ATO as well, and the Senate inquiry. So, Adam, is this a good chance for you to give us an update on the Senate inquiry and the ruling that's recently come out?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, well, I didn't actually personally do any work, just not as much as you, Lucas. You actually appeared in person at the Senate inquiry. The BAA put in a submission, and that was largely drafted up by Ruben and Amor Sexton from Adroit Lawyers, and that was several months ago now. The committee heard the presentations and read all the submissions, and I think it was about 2 weeks ago they came out with their ruling, and they've recommended that, and I'm not a tax lawyer, so this may not be 100% correct, but they've recommended that bitcoins be listed as money in the definition of money in the GST Act, which would mean that we don't have to charge, or a supplier wouldn't have to charge GST on the value of bitcoins. So yeah, the BAA is really happy about that, and our next job now is to sort of keep the pressure on the government to actually implement these recommendations from the committee.
Now, do we know if any exchanges or any merchants have actually paid GST, like actually passed it on, and will they be entitled to a refund? Adam, do you know anything?
Yeah, I don't know for sure, and it's all unknown. I presume some people have collected GST. I presume other merchants haven't collected it when they maybe should have. I suppose we're lucky to a certain extent that the values may not be, like, we're probably not talking about billions of dollars worth of GST here, so it might be quite easy to rectify and go back through the books and reimburse people that have paid when they shouldn't have paid, and we're just hoping, like the BAA really hopes, that this is all settled soon, and that they implement the recommendations, and then everyone's on the same page, and they know what they're doing, and they know what taxes they're liable for, and we can sort of move forward and concentrate on our businesses a bit more rather than the tax.
Yeah, exactly. A bit of certainty goes a long way, I think. So, David Enkin, did you actually pass on the GST?
So we've obviously, as we've stated, we've collected GST, and we are, declaring that to the ATO. We're going through our tax at the moment, so yes, we will be passing that on. We've had advice that regardless of any future rulings in that regard, the GST we've collected will be payable to the ATO.
Excellent. Sounds like really, really fun times for you guys sorting that stuff out. Glad I'm not an exchange. So speaking of exchanges, now some of the comments on Reddit recently have been around one of the other exchanges in Australia, iGot. So there's been some bad press recently. Apparently there's been a few people who haven't been paid out their deposits, if I remember correctly. Now I did reach out to iGot. Dan replied back to me and passed on to the other founder, who didn't get back to me to come on the show tonight. So yeah, so Shane, did you have any other comments about iGot and what you've read in Reddit and the other forums?
Yeah, I've seen now there's been some users who haven't received a withdrawal since requesting it from up to about 2 months ago now. At the same time, we see some users getting their withdrawals come through. I suppose what's been most concerning is just their lack of PR and seemingly any sort of comments or dealing with the issue.
Yeah, like I was saying the other night, it's more of a customer support issue, really, just hopefully not so much a technical issue. I guess when I first heard about iGot, they contacted me through Facebook. I think it was around middle of 2014. This is before the big $1,000 spike. So I was using CoinJar quite a bit in that time. And they were taking the NAB deposits, and it just happened to be down the road from where I was working. But iGot were taking Westpac deposits, which were literally across the road. So I tried to use iGot through a Westpac deposit, and their account numbers didn't match up initially. So I waited 3 or 4 days or a bit longer, and in that time, Bitcoin was going up and up. So again, I missed out on a fair bit of Bitcoin because of that. So then I actually just went back to CoinJar and just put it in the iGot2 hard basket. Now fast forward to when NAB closed down CoinJar's account, I actually went back to iGot and started using them because they were taking over-the-counter deposits, and I had no problems with them. Yeah, I had one withdrawal off memory that took probably 48 hours, and I had to raise a support ticket. But overall, in all, my experience has been very positive. So I'm a little bit shocked to see this press come out. But yeah, I guess it's, hopefully it's all going well for them, and hopefully this will be sorted. So,
yeah. So there's been a number of things. Their first reasoning was that they had a system update when these issues started occurring, and as an exchange myself, I can relate to maybe something going wrong and then causing an issue for a day or two. And then we had them saying one of their bank accounts got frozen, and to me that's a little bit more concerning perhaps. As an exchange, I think we've all learnt, maybe David and Kim, you could comment on it, that you quickly learn to have a lot of redundancies in place, especially when it comes to dealing with the banks. And it sounded like iGot might only have a couple of accounts here in Australia. So David, have you guys found dealing with banks and kind of the systems you've put in place to handle things like these?
Yeah, sure. I mean, like all exchanges that we know of, we've had our banking issues and we've had bank accounts closed. Very little communication from the banks, towards reasonings and things like that. As far as mitigating that, we just, I guess we just try to have as many bank accounts available as possible and hope for the best in some ways.
Yeah, that's it. And what it seems like iGot's done is perhaps they've spread themselves too quickly. If they've only got 1 or 2 accounts here and they're the main ones with the customer funds that have been frozen.
Yeah, but like you said,
I could see how it's put them in a hard position.
Yeah, like you said, Shane, it could be handled a little bit better. Like you said, if you look at the site now, there's no real PR or any feedback to the customers on what's going on. So a little bit disappointing in that regards, I would say. So any other closing comments? When we still got 10 minutes tonight. So was there anything else we wanted to chat to our special guest CoinLoft about before we move on to other news? Shane, did you have any other?
Well, I suppose we just wrap that up by saying we hope for all the best there. We would hate to see another exchange go down, especially one maybe the size of iGot. So just hope the best for everyone and that they get things sorted and customers come out happy.
Yeah, couldn't agree more.
For CoinLoft, Kim, it's just. Sorry, Lucas. Maybe you can save me here.
Well, that's right. We'll move on to the next topic, and because we've got a doozy at the go, and we're going to talk about Bitcoin XT. But before that, I've got a little side project, as we all do. I'm calling it Bitcoin Node Day. So the idea here is that on the 30th of August, that we all run a Bitcoin full client, be it Bitcoin XT or Bitcoin Core, and try and see if we can get the node count back up. Now, last I looked at it was actually this morning, and the nodes count has gone up to over 6,000, which we haven't seen since probably the start of the year off memory. So take a look at bitcoinnode.org and try and spread the word, try and turn on your full clients around that day, and let's just see if we can make a bit of noise and raise awareness around why full nodes are important. So,
and I do have an update for you there as well, Lucas.
Oh, I love a surprise update, Adam.
Yes. Yeah, Max K has been doing a bit of work in this area, I think just by coincidence actually, but it's been a nice coincidence. So he's got a website up now. It's called nodeup.xk.io, and through that website, now he does disclaim that it is super alpha at the moment, so don't put vast sums of money on there, but he'll be fixing that up in the next few days, and it should be ready to go. And on that site, you can actually generate a node within 10 seconds and pay for it, and it will, I think, seed a server and start transacting Bitcoin transactions within about half an hour, I believe it is. And you pay by the month. So the price that I was quoted today was $5.50 US for a month of running in a node.
Nice.
I thought it was great. Yeah.
Yeah, and as I mentioned to you before, Adam, a few people on Bitcoin Talk actually don't like that idea. They say it becomes a more centralized model or a decentralized. But I think having these backbones that sit in a high availability data set is good for everyone. And then when you I guess ring nodes come on and they've got a nice fast pipe to these quote centralized unquote nodes. So I think that's a really great initiative.
And it's probably better to have these. The other alternative would probably be that they don't exist. So it's probably better to have them.
Yeah, exactly. The more nodes, the better. And that's I guess, the whole reason for Bitcoin Node Day, and trying to, again, just open the conversation around nodes and why they're important. Following
Sorry,
up.
Lucas, is this, I imagine you've been bringing this up in your meetups. So what's kind of perception, or how have people been taking this?
Around nodes in general, or
Yeah, and I suppose we find in Melbourne we get a whole range of people who have never dealt with Bitcoin before, and then other very tech-savvy people. So maybe more for the people who aren't so experienced with Bitcoin. Do you find people asking you questions, seeking help?
Well, to be honest, not really, because I think the newbies, there's so much information to take in. I think if you start to say, well, actually now that you get your head around it, and it all is predicated on the amount of nodes running, it might actually scare people off. But if people do ask about it, or how the network propagates, then yeah, definitely when we do a bit more of a 101 and we talk about how transactions are propagated through the network, definitely nodes come up there. And we did have a meetup around, I did run one on the blockchain itself, a bit of a deep dive into the blockchain. So again, we explored the 1 meg limit and what the problems are with that, which I guess brings us up to Bitcoin XT. Now, full disclosure, I haven't read up too much about this. I've kind of just read the headlines, and I understand it's just a fork of Bitcoin Core with the block size limit increased. Is it up to 8 or 20 meg, Shane? You know the particular?
Yeah, 8. I'm always amazed by how Bitcoin works, and in this fork in particular, it's opinion, I suppose, whether you're for it or against it aside. It fascinates me how the rules would come into play of this taking effect. So it's something like, of the last 1,000 blocks that get mined, it has to be 750 miners in agreement or consensus. Then it still wouldn't take effect until January 2016, and then it's only once the first block gets mined that is over 1 meg. So there's all these rules, and there's potentially a few more that I've forgotten about before something like this takes effect. So there's a lot of warning about it.
Yeah, well, I think again, like we spoke about this on episode 1, it's actually a good philosophical problem and solution. Like, how does a distributed model solve problems that will come up from time to time? So I think this is a really good challenge for Bitcoin, and I'm sure there'll be a solution. And like in every solution, there's always winners and losers, or people that don't get their preference. But yeah, I'm really interested to see how this gets solved through the community, and I might even spin up a Bitcoin XT node, just have a little bit of a play around with it. But yeah, at the end of the day, the blocks are getting full, and there needs to be a resolution around this. No one here wants to see Bitcoin choke and fall over. So yeah, I think we need to have these adult conversations and look at ways to solve it.
Yeah,
So,
I agree completely. What I love is this is going to unfold and get even more interesting as time plays out and it gets closer to that January date. On one side or the other, there's going to be it's kind of forcing people to make a decision a bit quicker than maybe they would like. So I think we're going to have lots of interesting things to talk about in future episodes.
Yeah, just from a CoinLoft perspective, do you think, guys, that the actual way this is being solved is actually more interesting than the 1 meg or 8 meg issue itself?
yeah, well, I like anyone who steps up to the plate and puts software out there. I mean, that takes time to do it. So to then flame that person for trying to, you know, not only propose a solution but go and implement it, that's you know, not good for anyone. You know, software takes time, and it's hard to write. It's hard to write correctly. So, you know, I applaud the people who are trying to do it and trying to put out a solution.
Hey Kim, have you had thoughts how you guys might handle it? Let's say XT becomes the fork and there's a bit of notice about it. Have you guys looked into it at all, or is it a bit too far down the track at the moment to start considering how you guys might handle that?
Yeah, to be honest, it's a little bit early for us. I mean, we've only started to, you know, read a little bit about it in the last couple of days, actually. So I guess we're probably just sort of in the state of sit back and wait and see what happens and see what the majority do, and then get some advice and follow what other people are doing, I suppose.
Yeah, excellent. Well, that's a good strategy. Wait as long as you can. See what the community does before you invest in a solution that may or may not win. So, yeah, well, keep us updated. I should say. Now, just on that, I think we're just about to run out of time. Shane or John, do they want to say any closing comments? And if, I forgot to mention, if we do have any live listeners, thanks for joining us. We will sort out the chat next time, I promise. I might have to get a technical expert in to help me solve the Google Hangouts problem. But John, did you want to say anything on closing? How did you find the show tonight as well?
Yeah, it was interesting. As you know, I don't follow Bitcoin as closely as you guys do, so some of what you were talking about tonight was new to me. So while we've been talking, I've been reading some of the threads on Reddit, and it's a shame that we're coming towards the end of the show because I would have loved to have gotten you guys to give an explanation to a noob as to what these recent problems have been, because I'm just reading through the Reddit threads and they're talking about schisms and losing devs, and I know that you guys, like I said, we're coming towards the end of the show, but even just a quick summary from one of you I think would be useful for any people listening to this who have no idea what's happening in the Bitcoin world. Do you want to just give like a brief rundown, Lucas? I think that'd be useful.
On what? Sorry, can you say that again? On the.
Well, I'm reading these threads about people being concerned about losing developers, and they're talking about a schism that's taking place, and I'm reading people talking about, you know, some of the recent problems with Bitcoin, but until tonight I didn't know there were any recent problems. Do you know what they're talking about, these threads that I'm reading?
Well, I think people are getting emotional about these decisions, and developers don't often get paid, and they're just throwing their hands up and saying, well, hey, if you're not you know, giving me some, you know, love basically on what we're doing to the community and helping this project succeed, well, why should I? But I think, Shane, you've got some comments on this one.
Yeah, I've been following it a little bit more closely. What's happened is this discussion's been going on for a while, and at the end of the day, where there's a lot of concern if the cap gets raised too high, that the China miners won't have the bandwidth to be able to participate too far down the track. So that's why people have been a bit hesitant to make a decision at the moment, and that's why the general public is unable to make an agreement on the right approach there. So then what we've had is, I think 2 of the 5 Bitcoin developers come out and make a slight adjustment, which is this Bitcoin XT, and that raises the cap to 8 megs, effective of those rules that I stated before. So that's where things have gotten very interesting in the last week or so, because now they've actually released a node that people can run on their, or just like running the normal Bitcoin Core client. So people can actually use this thing, and it's starting to slowly gain a bit of momentum, but that might pick up as more people join on. We might get a bit of a snowball effect, and it's also kind of forcing people who have been sitting on the fence or being quite cautious to kind of fasten up a bit and try to make a decision faster.
Well, it seems like things are moving so quickly. You might have to make this more of a regular occurrence than once a month, Lucas. Might have to become more of a fortnightly thing. What do you say?
Hey, let's not get carried away. But hey, it's definitely on the cards. Lots to talk about. And no, I'm glad you went off and had a look at the forum because I'd forgotten to do that. But yeah, it's interesting because end of the day, anyone can participate in this experiment, and anyone with some software development skills can create their own clients and play around with the protocol as they want. And so long as you get a majority, you can actually define what is Bitcoin. And I think that is an exciting opportunity in itself. But unless there's anything else, I think we might wrap it up at that. So thank you to David and Kim for joining us tonight. I hope you enjoyed your time on the show.
We have, guys. We've really enjoyed it.
Yep, thanks very much. It was great.
Not a problem. And Shane, thank you for contacting them and like I said, taking the time to put a bit of a rundown together. And Adam, as always, down in sunny Tasmania, thank you for joining us and giving us an update from the BAA. So, all right, guys, thank you very much for your time, and we'll speak to you next month.
Thanks, Lucas.
Thanks, Lucas. Good to meet everyone.
All right, bye.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
Thank you.